The other night I watched the original Evil Dead, which came out in 1981. It's about a group of friends who go to a cabin in the woods and they basically discover demonic forces. I'm so glad I finally decided to watch this classic because I've seen Evil Dead 2 probably a couple years ago now, and it's definitely one of my favorites, and this is up there now too. Immediately after the first scene, I can see how Ash's character evolved from this to Evil Dead 2 because he's a completely different person in Evil Dead 2, in my opinion. He's definitely wittier and he knows what he's about, and this, he's kind of timid and afraid. Aesthetics wise, this is similar looking to Texas Chainsaw Massacre in my opinion, but I just liked it. I love the point of view shots. I mean, I feel like I've seen so many films now recently that do the point of view shot thing and they each put their own twist to it, and I can really appreciate it, and I just really like that technique even though some may feel like it's overused. They use the point of view shots differently because it's moving all about. Like it's the wind and it's a little different in that regard, even though it's supposed to be like the demonic forces coming for them, but the way they use it was just interesting. I get a good sense of how the characters are right away. I didn't really dislike anyone besides the macho dude. I don't even remember his name because he kind of really annoyed me. The cabin is of course really creepy looking. It doesn't look like it's just there for the movie. It looks like it's actually a real location and it's been there and it's really haunted. I also enjoy how the shots were mostly a little shaky and they looked handheld because of it. It just felt raw and like you were closer to the events. Some shots were really drawn out, and I know when they go down to the basement for the first time, it's really drawn out and it shows everything, and then it goes back to Ash who's looking in the basement, and I just found that really cool because you get like, you feel like something maybe is gonna pop out at you, but it doesn't. There were also extreme close-ups that really helped vary the shots. There is a rape scene in this, and I knew there was. It wasn't awful. I feel like I've seen worse and I've heard about worse in other films, but I feel like it did linger a little too much on it. I also understand why they included this event because it made them drive back and see that the bridge is just gone and they can't leave because of it. But I can really appreciate this film because I can tell it was made with a lot of love and care for the idea of it and how it was actually carried out. It set itself different from other popular horror movies at the time because it changed up the whole group aspect. Instead of a killer hunting each one down, basically the demonic forces hunt each friend down, but you don't know who's gonna turn when, and I found that as an interesting twist. I knew this was going to be a darker tone than the sequel, but man, this is pretty dark. I mean, Ash watches all of his friends die, and he can't really do anything about it. He's too afraid. The gore is also amazing. I mean, I wasn't expecting any less because of how Evil Dead 2 was, but I definitely recommend checking it out since it's available on Shudder.